Our next question comes from Emily. And Emily asks, is buying a Mac laptop worth the money? Well, how much does it cost? Well, let's see. How much does it? So I click on Mac, and let's say there's MacBook and MacBook Pro. There's quite a difference there. I'm going to go ahead and click on MacBook. And here's the MacBook. Click Buy Now. Let's take a look at the prices. Okay, so here's what we have. The MacBook, as you can see, they start at, there's actually a $999 model right there, $999. And they go all the way up to, if you click on the MacBook Pro, it goes all the way up to, well, $2,800 essentially. Well, what are you getting for that? A bigger screen, faster processor, more hard drive, some professional ports on the computers. Like you have FireWire ports on the Mac Pros. I don't believe you have those anymore on the MacBooks. You are getting a faster graphics card. That's probably the most key thing that you're getting with the MacBook Pros is the graphics card. Well, is the MacBook worth more than, say, getting a cheap Acer on sale at going out of business sale at Circuit City? It depends on what you're going to do. One of the things I always didn't like about a Windows computer is that I was stuck to always having to use Windows or Linux, but there isn't a huge amount of software that would be beneficial to me in Linux. There's no video editing program, for example. So I like the Mac because with the Macs I can run both Windows and the Mac OS on the same piece of hardware, so it gives me versatility, and I can also have an image with a program like Parallels for Linux. So I can run every piece of software that's out there on this computer, with one exception, and that is the Mac OS 9, the old classic applications, the old ones. But there might even be an emulator out there where you can do some of that as well. So to me that's important because I want to work in both operating systems. I want to be familiar with all of them. So that's really important to me. Some people like the style of the MacBooks. They like the display. They like the built-in webcam. They like the software like iChat. There's a lot of key applications that are really nice, like iMovie. There's nothing really comparable that comes free with your computer. So when you look at the cost of, like, say, an Acer that's a $999 and it's a faster processor, it seems like you're getting more computer. You may not. When you factor in, well, how much is it going to cost me to get a video editing program that's comparable to iMovie? Well, add on $100 for something like the Adobe Premiere. So that's going to add on some costs. A video editing program like iPhoto, you might be able to find something comparable free like Picasa or something like that. But it kind of ties in with that. If you really want to do a lot of video editing, you want to use a pro program. Final Cut Pro is really a really key one to use, and there's Final Cut Express, which is a cheaper version that allows you to do a lot more. So if you're going to, the Mac in my view is worth the money. And I'll give you one other reason why. I run no antivirus software on my personal computer, on my Mac. None at all. I haven't for years. And the reason being is there are no viruses out there for the Mac. So that sense of security, you always hear about all these threats. There's a recent thing with Microsoft that was just in CNN this past weekend about a big security threat where the computers could be taken over with this worm that's going on. A worm is another type of thing like a virus that can infect your computer and cause all kinds of havoc. Had someone last week who lost a file off their flash drive because it had a virus on it. The Mac, the virus didn't do anything, but when they plugged it into a PC, then it would cause problems. So there's a lot of security issues there. If you care about security, I would say that the Mac's worth it on that front because you don't have to worry about it. One day that might change, but for right now, it's a far safer choice to go with. And just that whole problem is an issue. The other thing is customer support. When I call Apple, I get someone who speaks my language natively, very clearly. They are great at helping me out because they control the operating system and they also control the hardware. So they can really figure out where the problem is. When you have an Acer, do you call Acer or do you call Microsoft? Where's the problem? Is the problem with Microsoft software or is the problem with Adobe software? Or is it with, Acer's hardware? It's really difficult to do, and I know my experiences with HP in the past have been horrible with customer support, and that was one of the things that really burned me on PCs. And I said, I don't have this problem with a Mac. So is it worth it? There's a lot of things. Don't just look at the bottom line and say this one's cheaper. It's that whole experience that you have with your computer. It's that experience of technical support that you have. It's that experience with security issues. It's that experience with being able to run virtually every piece of software that's out there, giving you that kind of freedom. So anyway, is it worth it? It's kind of like the same question. Is the iPhone worth it? Depends. The user interface, if you like it, there you go. If you're really a high-end tech and you like taking your computer apart and doing things, it may not be worth it to you. So it just depends on what you're doing. Okay? So hopefully, Emily, that answers your question. If you all want to chime in on your opinions on this, feel free to do that at our website, where we actually have a list. If you click on the link let me go to our website and I'll show you again. There we go, it's techies.com. So you scroll down on a video, you'll see add your comments to this episode, and you click on that, it'll take you to a website where you can actually add your comments. So if you have an opinion on this, post it on there, and Emily, check it out, and hopefully you get some other opinions on this sort of thing. Some people hate Macs, they just say they stink. In fact, this has been a huge thing. We did some videos a ways back, and they're on YouTube as well as our website. By the way, the higher quality videos are on our website. If you do go to YouTube and watch our videos, that might be an option. Actually, let me see if I can, do we have a link to the YouTube? Yeah, we do. Let me click on YouTube. Here's our videos. And one thing I wanted to point out to you, if you go to our videos and you find one of our more recent ones here, like deleting portions. Now I want you to see the quality of this.
Next question.
There's a little thing right down here I want to point out to you. Right down here, there's a watch in high quality. If you click on that, right now it's really grainy, but if you click on watch in high quality, it'll pull it in, and now it'll be a lot crisper in image.
Hi, Grace.
And you really notice that when you actually look at text.
She says, I've used.
So there you go. If you could read that, you see how crisp it is? Now if I go back to normal quality,
she says, I've used a Sony.
See how grainy that is now? So I want to point out to you that is high quality, but you get even a higher quality if you actually go to our website and watch them, or, as I was showing earlier, if you actually subscribe via iTunes. And probably this one for the iPod, they're both the same as far as in quality. I'd recommend probably choosing the one for the iPod. Eventually my plan is to subscribe via iTunes, the plain one. I'm going to switch that one to an Apple TV version, high def, really large files, but the kind, if you're going to watch it on your big TV in your living room, you can do that. And of course with the Apple TV you can do that, as well as some other devices that you can hook up. So I would recommend the second one. That's where you get some higher quality on that. All right. So anyway, this is the comments. You see how to do that. And on the videos that I did on YouTube about Mac versus PC, boy, a lot of people chimed in, and some people are just really fanatical about one or the other, beyond reason. And so be wary. Some people are just going to say they hate it because they had one bad experience with something. And so they can have a bias. Everybody has a bias. Even I do. Try to see through that. All right? Well, that answers your question.